Judge, so at this time, then you're going to reconvene the Commissioners Court.
Motion to reconvene.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Do we have somebody?
Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
Pledge of Allegiance.
We do, for the Pledge of Allegiance. We have Ms. Crystal Ortiz.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Judge, Commissioners, just as on Ms. Ortiz, she was with the U.S. Army E-4 Specialist, and she served June 2005 through June 2013, and she is a legal assistant with our Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office.
Well, thank you very much for your service.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Almighty God, we come together today for the good of the citizens of Hidalgo County. Give us your wisdom as we make decisions that will affect them today and in the years to come. Help us to work well together, recognizing that each of us are here because we want what is best for Hidalgo County. We ask for your blessing and your guidance. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Judge, Commissioners, with respect to the agenda item that we have today, I did post a consent agenda so that we could process some bills. And on the consent agenda also, you have a City of Edinburgh use for county parking lots A1 and 2 for their 6th annual Frida Fest to take place Saturday, July 13th. All appropriate documentation has been provided by the city.
Move for approval.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Ms. Marty, you have, actually, there's two action items. One, the second one, while it shows under, it says Hidalgo County, so that there's no misunderstanding, this is not the second action item is not a purchasing. It's under the heading of Hidalgo County, and Mr. Olivares is in the audience for the second one.
Okay. Item 4A. This is after the presentation of the report by Mr. Looney and other members of the court. And the questions and answers on any changes, inclusion, exclusions, deletions, modifications to the RFP components. We ask for authority to advertise and the inclusion of all those discussed in the workshop to be included in the RFP that will be finalized by your consultant and released after advertising. I think that generally summarizes the item.
How do we make sure that his interpretation of what we wanted and our interpretation of what we wanted is included, Steve?
You can delegate that to purchasing, for example, have them go through the final RFP packet and make sure that's it, or you can bring it back here for approval.
We don't have time to
Judge,
do that.
Commissioners, the way we had the discussion, I think everything that we discussed is already included in the RFP. The only real change is going to be having those, if the court decides to go with the two agents, or whatever number of agents, that they be subject to Commissioner's Court approval. Because we do have the AEP already included in the RFP. I think almost all the recommendations that Ms. Hilda had submitted over, we had incorporated into the documents. I think some were omitted because they were duplicative on part of where.
They were overlapping or duplicated.
Yeah, because the two items that we sent to the court, the three items, are only three components of several other documents, standard languages that purchasing already includes in there.
So we delegated to the purchasing department?
I delegate that.
Okay.
I have a question. Sergio, sorry. And I don't know if it's part of this process, but when will we be able to look at the health savings account? Is that completely separate from this?
That's completely separate from this. What we will be recommending to the court is for us to go back, look at the different options that the court has, because there's several ways that we can do a health savings account, a flexible spending account. There's several things that the court can do to benefit the employee. So we want to come back, hopefully, before we bring this RFP, with basically the options for the court, have the court decide on maybe one or two, and then develop an RFP just for those services as well.
Inclusive of daycare and,
We can
because
include all of
that's
that.
really an important benefit that I think a lot of the employees, I mean, if they get a tax break for participating in those flexible spending accounts for medical and for childcare, I think that's a win-win.
So we can include that. We had not looked at childcare, but we'll make sure and look at those options for the court. But we wanted to bring that to the court because of the time sensitivity of this RFP going out. We wanted to bring those options to the court at a separate meeting.
If you're going to do it for medical, I think you should also do one for daycare, for childcare as well, just
We'll do that.
on a side note.
And just to go back, because we discussed so many things, I'm not sure on the rebates. Do we have to do anything to the request for proposal on rebates? That decision is a plan, is component?
Yeah, that should be disclosed within the RFP.
That is part of the
So then,
RFP.
the court will be able to look at that and decide whether we want to do all together and whether we want that to be credited
Or
to
offset.
Okay, all
the
right.
administration fee or be separate.
One other question, Judge.
Sure, go ahead.
What about the incentives that we were going to look into giving our employees incentives for doing certain things?
There is a wellness component on there to where the TVA would provide incentives for the county. I'm not sure what dollar amount we have included in there,
But give me an example, like what is it that you foresee it to look like?
as far as similar to what we have right now, to where we're able to give, either do biometric screenings, which we've done in the past with some of the dollars that are allocated by Aetna currently.
Oh, so it's an overall incentive to the whole county, it's not an incentive to the individual employee?
Well, we can do individual employees, similar to what we did with the walking challenge or the weight loss challenge. Things like that will be direct benefits to the employees.
But they're programs, it's not money or products or goods or anything like that? Like you can't give them a Fitbit as an example or cash or anything like that?
That would be an incentive. Cash, I don't believe we would be able to do.
No cash,
But-
but there are incentives for doing that.
Well, first of all, obviously not cash, right? Checks or discounts or something, right?
But yes, but definitely
Prices.
Fitbits, exercise equipment, and things like that.
We're looking
we would
at
be able
that?
to include that, yes.
Okay. That's it, Judge.
Die Master.
Okay,
I'll buy you a time.
so,
Okay, so is that what
the
the
most
court is
eloquent,
going
the
to?
most eloquent, the one with the best memory, please make a motion.
Oh, that's what we're doing now?
Yeah.
Oh, my
That was
God.
all the motion, right?
So we'll make a motion to proceed as discussed, inclusive of all the comments that had been made in the workshop and any other further discussion that was had here in this court setting, in this commissioner's court meeting, regularly called meeting,
Right.
to incorporate all of those changes and approve the RFP to be
Prior, to be ready,
authorized to advertise.
correct.
Second. That was very good, Commissioner.
I tried, I'm sorry, I had to read something.
Got it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
2 is discussion and approval,
No, that's.
Mr. Olivares.
That's Mr. Olivares. And as I said, again, for disclosure purposes and to make sure
Yes, no
nobody
problem.
misunderstood, the heading.
morning.
I'm sorry, just again, just to reiterate, for disclosure purposes, the heading was Hidalgo County, and then the first action was Hidalgo County Purchasing. The second one is Hidalgo County Health Department, Health and Human Services.
Just very quickly, this is action, real quick. Discussion and approval to create a Texas identification number for the local participation provider fund related to intergovernmental transfers. All they're doing is differentiating the regular account and hospital accounts, and they just want to set up 2 different accounts so they can
We
track
don't have
them.
that already?
No, it's all combined right now. The state's asking to have
Okay.
2 separate ones. That's what they're asking.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2, discussion approval to create a TextNet account for the local participation provider fund related to intergovernmental transfers. That will be the actual account itself, through the treasurer's office and the tax office.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And the third one is discussion approval to authorize direct deposit of funds from the local participation provider fund related to intergovernmental transfers. And then once the accounts will transfer to the state.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, Commissioners, we do have open forum, and we do have 2 participants.
Okay.
So if I may, please remind the audience to please respect the speaker's time at the podium. There is a 3-minute time limit, and I will advise when there is 1 minute. Our first presenter is Ms. Fern McClarity.
Well, I don't know if the employees are confused today after all your questions and everything and what maybe y'all need to speak with them. Because I have heard in the past that they're upset about different things with our insurance company. I'm glad that Eddie did tell us what the LPPF was. That was one of the questions that we were asking. And are we still going to be, even though they're in separate accounts, are we going to be watching the money that's going in and making sure that it is the right amount that's always there? And the other question, I'm still getting phone calls from people asking me about those trucks and where are they and were any of them stolen, with the VIN number being off. So I told them I had no idea, but I would keep asking and maybe y'all would find out, or if you already know, you could let us know so I can tell them why they're asking about it, because it was in the advanced news in FAR. I did finally find the paper. I looked around to see where I had seen it myself. So if you could find the answers out and let us know, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next presenter is Mr. Joe Rodriguez.
Hello. Just to touch up on what I spoke about last week. Finally, the waters are receding off the bar ditches. A lot of the culvert pipes are still plugged. A lot of this could have been prevented if certain work orders were met. They're going on 50-something days now when they were put in. And if they were actually attended and looked at and taken care of, this flooding wouldn't have taken place. Okay. The other question is, does our time start when you call us up or when we actually start speaking here?
And I won't count this against you, sir, but just so that everybody knows what I do, I actually let about 5 or 6 seconds pass because of the introductions that have commissioners, and then I start the time. And then, to be honest with you, I actually let a few seconds go by after the 3 minutes before I'll. So everybody gets actually a little more than the 3 minutes. Okay, so.
I was just wondering. Thank you.
Okay, so you could. Okay, go ahead.
The answer is 5 seconds after you start.
Right. So a lot of that, like I was saying, could have been averted if actual work orders are attended and looked and taken care of prior to actually having these rains. We're talking about being prepared for hurricane season, what have you. A lot of these things are happening. A lot of people are learning to put work orders ahead of the hurricane season, so before the rains. So if they can be taken care of, we avert the flooding, we avert the insurance costs going up, everything going, the roads being destroyed by the water standing there. I mean, and the other one is, if y'all can be actually seen out there when actually these rains come down and be out in the streets and looking at them, and so people can see you out there, it would really help out in the morale of the people. Because sometimes it's, you see the workers, but you never see you guys, some of you. Some of you do, but you have your specific little areas you want to go to. The other one, it slipped my mind, but that's it for now. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Judge Commissioners, those were for the audience and Commissioner Fuentes.
I just wanted to say a quick word in open forum, just that I'm very appreciative of the other commissioners. All of you guys have really stepped up and helped us out over there in Precinct 1, and I just want to express my gratitude for all the equipment and personnel that you guys have sent over to Precinct 1. Obviously, we still have some standing water. The rains were pretty devastating again. Another Category 500 plus year storm hits Precinct 1. So it's been a very difficult situation. I want to thank my staff, and I also want to thank the county departments that have been very helpful. And obviously, budget has helped us out quite a bit with giving us the money, human resources with personnel. Eddie Olivares in Health and Human Services, vector control, that's critical right now. Jaime Longoria in CSA and getting all of the assistance out to the people that actually need it, and obviously purchasing with everything that we've had to buy on Code 99, because it's extraordinarily and significant to us to get these things quickly. Judge, thank you again for extending the resources of the county out to us. Chief Saldana, for his guidance and support and coordination of efforts. And obviously my staff at Precinct 1, they've been working around the clock for over a week now, and it's been a difficult situation for us to manage, but we've been handling it well, but we wanted to just express our gratitude for everybody's support up here. So thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. When opposed, motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.